I'm Matthew Moniz, and this is the Porsche designed Mate 9. If you've ever seen a Porsche phone in the past, it's probably been with BlackBerry. The BlackBerry 9983 and the 9982 were both Porsche-inspired phones. Now I have to be honest, they weren't the greatest looking phones. They were okay, but they just didn't live up to the Porsche name. Now that Huawei designed a phone with them, I feel this is the perfect phone to represent Porsche. So this video is about my impressions and whether or not using a Porsche phone brings any advantages over using the regular Mate 9 that was announced alongside of it. So what I really wanted to know is how people would react when I showed them a phone that was co-designed by Porsche. Well, the consensus was that they all loved the design, the brushed metal back, and the edge display. But the big comment I always got was that they felt the phone looks a lot like the Note 7, and quite frankly, it sorta does. But I do feel from a design standpoint, Huawei did a couple of things better. The first one is fitting a 4000 milliamp battery that doesn't blow up, and two, the brushed metal back is less fragile than one made of glass. When Huawei announced the Porsche Design Mate 9, they also announced the Mate 9 beside it. The Mate 9 is more of a Volkswagen, it's still a good car, but it's just not a Porsche. The regular Mate 9 has a nice 5.9-inch display that's full HD, IPS, and allows you to see things clearly. However, the Porsche is a sports car, so the display is smaller at 5.5 inches, edgier, but more refined with its QHD panel and AMOLED display. Now both phones have great displays, but the Porsche Design Mate 9 is obviously better. Another big difference between the original Mate 9 and the Porsche version is that on the Porsche version you get an Edge display. Now it's not nearly as deep as the Galaxy S7 Edge, so it's much easier to use and more importantly to type on. The software experience on both phones are the same. They both have Android 7.0 and Huawei's latest version of MUI 5.0. Now it's significantly better than previous versions with a more stock-like notification system and the option to turn on an app drawer. But there's still a lot of gimmicky features and a few visual glitches. However, the one thing I was really disappointed about was that the Porsche version didn't have its own unique theme or feel to it. The only major visual difference is the load screen. When you start the phone, you get some cool Tron-like animations. So what else makes this phone so special? Well, for one, you get 6 GB of RAM instead of 4, and you also get a total of 256 GB of storage space instead of 64 on the regular Mate 9. Now it doesn't have a microSD card slot. I don't imagine you'll need that extra space, but it does have an extra slot for an additional SIM card. The camera experience is the same as the Mate 9, so you have two Leica cameras on the back. One is a 120 megapixel RGB shooter, and the other is a monochrome camera that shoots in black and white. The camera is good, but it's no better than the one on the Pixel or iPhone 7 Plus. You'll get great photos in optimal light, but it suffers in low light conditions. You can check out a more in-depth camera review in my Mate 9 video. The performance and sound is very similar to the Mate 9. They both have the Kirin 960 chip, which is very powerful. They both have fantastic battery life, and they both have dual stereo speakers. So in short, this is what you get with a Porsche Design Mate 9. You get slightly more RAM, you get a much better display, you get a nicer design, and of course, you get a lot more storage space. But this all comes with a $1,500 price tag. Now I'll be honest, using this phone felt like I was part of a small special group, and people who I showed it to got very excited. This is obviously meant for those who want to be part of something exclusive. Now if you own a Porsche car, it's a nice accessory for it, and if you're a fashionista and like high-end stuff, it could be a good phone to have. But for the rest of us, the Mate 9 will do just fine. Also, the exclusivity of using the Porsche Design Mate 9 kind of dropped after Huawei announced the Mate 9 Pro, which has the exact same design. So is the Porsche designed Huawei Mate 9 worth it? For the regular, average, everyday consumer, obviously not. The regular Mate 9 is cheaper and it's just as capable as this phone. I think the whole point of the Porsche designed Huawei Mate 9 was to show that Huawei can make beautiful hardware. And in my opinion, they exceeded. So that wraps up my impressions of the Porsche designed Huawei Mate 9. Also, I've done a review on the regular Mate 9. I'll place that in the link in the description down below. And since I'm in CES, Huawei announced the Mate 9 here in North America. The cool thing about it, when it does come out, it's also going to come with Alexa installed. So that wraps up my first impressions of the Porsche Design Huawei Mate 9. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.